Hello everybody, welcome back to the Adventures of Mianna here. And I actually recorded a video in this new solo spot that I'm at, and I found there was no sound. I don't know why, but it looks like the mic's registering sound now, so it should be fine. This spot is great. I showed you my last solo spot in Lower Guck, and it started to light blue out there at about level, when I hit 38. Some of the mobs are starting to light blue out, some of the regular spawns I was killing. Much before that, at like 36, the undead patrol that was going up and down through the mobs I was killing was light blue. But I found, which was a bummer, I thought about moving when I saw that. I was like, really? But then I realized I don't have to use him. I can just wait for him to like be gone, or if he does get involved, like I wasn't like really waiting for him. It's like if he wasn't there, I would just get going. And sometimes because I was doing it like that, um, he would come when I'm in the middle of charming or if I'm in the middle of a fight. Usually if I'm in the middle of a fight, it's okay because I would pull those froglocks into that spiral staircase room and they would be out of aggro range anyway. But sometimes he would come walking in when I'm in the middle of charming or a pet where the pet's already charmed and he's still mezzed, so he's sitting there. And in that case, I would just throw a slow on him and let the pet rip him down, and the pet would still only lose 10 or 15% HP, which is fine, because we want the pet to have less HP than the target mob anyway. So, but anyway, once the actual spawns that I was killing started to light blue, I was like, it's time to move on. And even the level before that, I was only getting like 1 or 1.2% per kill, and I felt like for charming, it was not so great. So I found this spot at level 38, which was a little bit scary because these mobs are level 35, but they're always warriors. They're consistently level 35. And this is actually some real, it's some like horror movie, horror novel, psychological stuff going on because I'm actually pitting sisters against each other. They carry these axes. Usually they have a two-handed bronze axe which sells for about 4 platinum. Sometimes they have a one-handed one which only sells for 2 or 3. But they also usually have around 1 to 3 plat just on their person. So it's a decent money camp. XP is great. I started here at 38 and I'm already 40 now, and I'm pushing through 40. As you can see, I get about, I want to say it averages out to about 20 to 22% an hour, which considering this is a hell level is pretty good. And another cool thing is, without any illusion whatsoever, there's a high elf vendor literally right there inside this doorway that will trade with me. I can even be in my troll form. And he still does not care. He's indifferent. Both in like descriptively and actually when you con him. He's just indifferent to your race. He's not a racist. He's a businessman. So I'm just, whenever I want, I can sell these axes. See, I'm loaded up right now, but I'm like, hey, I still got bag space. I'm not encumbered. I didn't even think about it. This will be a good time to sell. You can see they both have that two-handed axe. So after this fight, I will sell. Empty the bags out, and those sisters are down, so nothing's going to aggro on me. So this is the best time to sell to the merchant right there. Now, if it was just one pair, it would be okay, right? Not ideal. Bunch of downtime. The spawn time is a bit longer on these than the typical 8 minutes we find on this server. They're at about 9.5 minute spawns is what I was told. I haven't timed them myself yet, but that's what I was told. So I'm going to go with believing that. Let me get my face a little bigger here. More reaction. But yeah, let's also make the window a little wider. There we go. And then make it a little smaller. There we go. So, the beauty of it is, like I said, they're the same level, same class, so usually the HP is pretty even Steven. When it's not, I got slows, which help. But, see, the fight is already so long that I'm really reluctant to use slows. So when it's like this, I like to just use a nuke, you know? Oop. See, now they're even. I gotta reroute, but that's okay. Full mana. Save myself some time. We're about to have to break charm. And the other beautiful spot about this is there is nothing around that will get involved in this fight, really. I mean, yeah, if I go far enough down there, there's some guards and whatnot, but I've got all of this room to maneuver around. For example, if I get a charm break and a root break, I've got J boots. I can just, put some distance between me and the girls and manage things pretty easily. Chaos Flux does about 9% of their HP, so Sanity Warp only does about 4%, and even then, if it's closer to 5%, but it still says 4%, you're not going to kill them. And Anarchy's doing about 17% of their HP. So, it's a little different than numbers, obviously, than it was with the Froglocks I was doing, because these mobs have more HP. But if I go into Dwarf form, they are not KOS to me at all. And these ones do not assist each other. These particular two. So I don't even need to calm before I Mez and Charm, which is pretty cool. You can see I've gotten way overloaded on coin here, which is wonderful. And this is like the third batch I've had. Like I took some back to the bank. I spent a whole bunch on my level 39 spells. And still, the money just keeps coming in. I've got dwarf meat and I've got dwarf blood, but I'm just letting them stack up because that way I don't have to move them back into the small bags. Because, whenever you loot, it goes into that nearest bag. And, or it goes in, not the nearest bag, the first bag, starting from the left. And I don't want them to go in that bag because that's the bag that I put the axes in. That's my box of Abokar with the 100% weight reduction. So we don't want them going into that box. This way we keep some stacks in our bags that don't have weight reduction. That way whenever I hit loot all and there happens to be some blood or some meat on there, they're already moved over. So I'm not going to sell them now. When the stacks are full, we will sell them. And look at my mana. It's great. I just rebuffed a little bit and I'm still like almost full mana after that fight. I get this is a hell level. I get about 1% per kill. When I first came here, I was getting about 2% per kill, maybe 2.5. It would be like every pair would give me 4%, 4%, and then 5%, 4%, 4%, 5%. So you can imagine how quickly I ripped through that level 38. Level 39 was more like 3%, 3%, 4%, 3%, 3%, 4%. And level 40 is like 2%, 2%, 3%, 2%, 2%, 3%, which I think is really good for this hell level. I did a stint at the Ghoul Lord camp. I apologize for not recording it, but it was very busy. I wouldn't have been talking much. I was charming a pet, slowing, mezzing, the works, and trying to stay alive, and talking to group mates. I didn't have the energy or the time. And lately I haven't recorded much. I went to the countryside and I tried to record a couple videos, but every once in a while I need a break. I don't have much to say. The environment was not very comfortable with lots of sounds and people around walking by and looking at me, And that's just it's not really conducive to me flowing on the camera very well. So I ended up deleting both the videos I recorded over my break when I went to Grandma's house in the countryside. One, because there was no sound, this very rotation, and the other one because it just felt like it wasn't good quality content. I did have a third one that I retained. You will have seen that just prior to this video, I do believe. But you see, I should have mentioned my path. I have a map up, which allows me to figure out that I can walk over this little mountain wall with these two canyon things. I can go over that wall. And that's the fastest way to come here, which is number 3 on the Butcherblock map, and you got 2 more sisters. That's basically the same thing. All these sisters are reducing your Caledon citizen faction, but they don't reduce your faction with the guards or the merchants, as far as I know. Although perhaps the merchants have Caledon citizens as one of their factions. Because mobs can have multiple factions that, in combination form their attitude towards you. But it doesn't directly affect the merchants. It just does the citizens. So when I throw in dwarf form, I'm still amiable to the guards, which is really cool. And I'm wondering, if I ran across citizens in Caledon, what would happen? Would they attack me? Maybe. But I don't know. I don't know how citizens feel about me. I think citizens still like me, actually. I don't think I'm KOS to the citizens yet. So it's a great grind for people who are a little bit worried about the faction. They don't want their guard faction to get hit. I'm not worried about guard faction, but unfortunately, enchanters cannot charm guards. So these ones I can charm. And that's why you see me focusing on these sisters. 2 pairs, it's about perfect. I don't think I could do 3 and like really be on top of them all. Usually, like often it goes really nice. I don't have to expend much mana on the finishing nukes, but sometimes it gets a little uneven and I do get drained for mana. Plus sometimes I've got a rebuff, you know. So 2 pairs is perfect, and like again for a hell level like 40, it's really fast. It was much faster than the Ghoul Lord camp that I was doing, and we had a decent group. We were doing pretty well. So I think as an enchanter, you can't beat the soloing. I gotta say, you just can't beat it, and it's just so much more chill as well, you know. So see now I break in. Oh wait, I do have my nukes up. Oh, don't want to invis the mob. Now we break invis. She's only got 8%. What she will do is she will run to me and hit me once, but she runs to the spot that I'm standing. So if I back up, then she will, once she reaches the spot I was when I broke charm, she will then run away. Oh, see, look, it almost did. She was at 9%, and she's got 0% now. So it does about 9%. See, look, this is 4%. It's 50-50 whether Sanity Warp will finish her off. We're just going to go with the Chaos Flux. We got plenty of mana. We don't have to worry about it. Let's keep it going. And there, 59%. It's cruising. So again, I'm at 0.3 of the Butcherblock map, which is about let me think. It's in the northwestern section between the docks and Caledon. It's pretty much smack dab between the docks and Caledon. See that path over there will lead you to the docks. There's the docks down there. We head back towards Caledon, and instead of going all the way around this mountain range, like I said, thanks to my EQTool's map, I know where the mountain range does not have a zone wall, and it's got a break in the zone wall effect right here between these 2 big canyon pillars. So I run up this little ridge here because some parts are too steep to run up, and I figure my way around. I try to be careful here because sometimes I wasn't careful and the fall damage would take 20 or 30% of my HP, even when I was trying to go sideways a little bit, but just not very carefully. And then I found myself, you know, as an enchanter, you don't have heals. And these girls, if they get off the chain, they can hurt you a bit. So it's better to just take the time on that as you go down the ridge to make sure you don't get hurt. I've been blasting bats as I see them on the way, just to accumulate some bat wings for being able to cast Levitate, since they're on the way. And I've got almost a stack now. And here you see Caledon. These guards would rip me apart if I gave them half a chance, but I don't plan to. I'm trying to be careful and remember to steer clear of them. And we're back here, and these sisters should not be up yet, but they should be coming soon. See, they're both still down, but probably right around the time I'm hitting like 98% mana, they will start popping. So it's really, these 2 pairs is really perfect as a little combo solo grind. And oftentimes, not always, but sometimes, somebody will be camping one of the 2 pairs, usually a druid. This is a real like druid hunting zone. I haven't seen that many shamans on this server. When I was on P99, it was shamans all day long in Butcherblock. Shaman, shaman, shaman. But here it's druid, druid, druid. Whatever. But a druid can't charm these girls, so they're only killing 2 of them. So if you end up with just 1 pair, it's still good XP. And gives you a little bit of time. I've been trying to exercise a bit more. I've been road biking maybe three nights a week for like an hour to an hour and a half, just to get some cardio. I've got a big belly. I'm like the fattest I've ever been in my life. I haven't been fat per se since high school, and I finally started to get fat again. So I need to start burning calories and also converting some fat into muscle. So I've got dumbbells sitting next to me. So when I do log on and I find, oh, I'm low on drink, so we're gonna find some drink. Well, this seems like a good time to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw on our dwarf illusion. So when I do only have 2 sisters, I got some dumbbells there. I'll shoot out like 15, 10, 15 push-ups. Okay, right now it's 10. I just started again, all right? Later on, it'll be at least 20 per rep. But I'm starting fresh after not doing any exercise for a while. And then, you know, rip the dumbbells a little bit until they pop, burn them down again, do the same. It's a good little system. See, look, he's indifferent to me. Does he have something to drink? There we go. That's another great thing about this camp. Everything you need is just here. You know, it's just here. Let's get some food while we're here. There we go. And now that we're a dwarf, we don't have to worry about aggroing the sisters. So we can get in closer. Before, like, I had to, like, click the door from maximum range. Oh, there they go. There they are. Alright. We're ready to go. So you see we got Alun, Bilgum. They're still warmly. They're smiling at me warmly. And Gibby Bilgum. So this is what I'm talking about. This is, like, straight up horror shit. Like, I was thinking about writing some, like, short stories for Everquest. What stops me is I don't know enough about the lore, you know. I wouldn't want to piss people off in that regard. But I kind of still want to do it. But I want to do like stories that are not just, no offense, because I love reading those. Oh, charm broke. I gotta recharm. I love reading those stories, but I don't want to do just like nerdy, like lore-based stories. I want to do like dramatic or horror. And I'm thinking like true psychological horror right here. Like, look at these 2 girls. They're sisters. They're like living together, working in this hut under like, maybe they're apprenticing under some merchants, or I don't know what their story is, but all of a sudden, you know, one of them like looks at each other with glassy-eyed and looks at the other one glassy-eyed and picks up the axe. She's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like slaughtering her sister. Just like gruesome psychological. Well, this is like the most evil stuff, you know, in the game. Like, forget about necromancers, you know, summoning the dead. They're dead anyway. Who cares? But like, this is like truly fucked up. That's what I'm doing. I'm just going from dwarf sister pair to dwarf sister pair and making them kill each other. Isn't that horrible? It is horrible. But it pays the bills. You know what I'm saying? It pays the bills. I didn't mean to root again that fast, but I just wanted to make sure that my game sound was coming through in the video, so I wanted to produce some sound so I could check the levels on my recording software, which is, for those who don't already know and are interested, OBS. So if you want to get some free, awesome recording software that almost everybody uses, it's OBS all the way. It's wonderful software. Unfortunately, it does not seem to work well with my EQTools, not like it did with Nparse. With Nparse, I could show you the map or show you my spell trigger menu, but with EQTools, it does not seem to work, so you don't get to see it, but I can always fill you in. Getting close to the breaking point. By that, you know what I mean. 12% and 18%. Really loving Calmethar's UI for this. Look at this. The HPs are just so even. I think she can take one more hit. Okay, 7 is too low, because sometimes they do one shot at that point, and it really ticks me off because I lose that extra experience. Depending on which one gets one shot. If it's my pet, I lose all of the experience. But if it's the target mob, I lose half of the experience. No biggie, but I got plenty of mana, so I don't need to try to get it down to the absolute minimum percent of HP, you know? It's like, oh, it's already 9, so we might as well save our time and just do another Anarchy, because we're going to have to do a Chaos Flux and a Sanity Warp to cover that much HP, so let's just do the biggie. And there we go. And they drop ringmail as well as the axe. Sometimes I've even had some have 3 pieces of ringmail on them. So it's really cool. Plus, if you're looking to start like a tank alt or some sort of alt that can wear ringmail, like a barbarian, or not barbarian, it's small, but like yeah, no shaman could wear it because they're all big. Shamans are big, but you know what I mean. A ranger, per se. You want to get them instead of getting them banded, just camp here for a bit and you'll get a full set of ringmail. Yeah, it's heavier a little bit, but hey, it'll look better. I think. A rogue, right? A dwarf rogue. And then we cruise on over to the other pair. Sorry, my wife's playing some of her Chinese audiobook. So that's going to be coming through the mic a little bit. Hope you don't mind. She plays it on like heightened speed, so it just sounds extra crazy. So you see, here's the canyon from the other side. Just scale this wall here. Now I try to kill the pairs, like when I start, I try to like kill and then kill again instantly. So that way I've only got one instead of 2 little med sessions. I just got 1 med session. Like I just kill 4 and then med and relax. But it's not really a med session. It's so fast because it takes a good few minutes to kill them. It's only a 9.5 minute respawn. There's a minute or 2 in transit. So see, these girls are up already. Let's bring up our charm spells. And look at our mana. It's just, you know, sometimes we get low. Usually when we have to rebuff and or when things go a bit south and we end up having to do quite a bit of nuking. But I've been getting less lazy. I was getting lazy and not putting in the extra work to balance the HP out. Just dealing with whatever I got at the end without any interference. But now I will break charm and slow the pet. It's worth it. It's just so much easier to deal with them when they're low HP when you break charm because they just run. I don't even have to root them. It's just a great solo enchanter grind. So here's our pet. Mez should be breaking right now. Or yes, there we go. It did break, but there was some lag in actually seeing her move. We sick her on her sister, the Dundum sisters. Don't know why they're in these ruins, just hanging out here. There's probably some lore behind that. If you do know, please feel free to comment. I would love to know. I love Zaid's lore videos. I would like to know more about the lore of Everquest. But it's a super simple grind. I wish I had more strategy to talk about. We will later. Once we get like 41 or 42, I will feel a lot better about going down into the safe hall area of Lower Guck and soloing there. Perhaps when population is low, I could try to solo a couple of the names like Cavalier or Executioner. And those will be more interesting because there's so many more mobs to deal with. Calm, Pacify. I do have Pacify now. It was one of the level 39 spells that I got. And it lasts for 3 minutes, which compared to P99 where it's 7, it's still a little tight, but I think it's doable for, say, pulling Cavalier out of his little room and killing him in the hallway with the patrol without having to worry about the other mobs in his room. Alright, let me get my nukes out. So you see, they're about even Steven. I don't have to nuke, but sometimes they really start to they'll be like even all the way to around this point, and then see, look, now there's like a 14-point difference, right? And I think what happens is once a mob gets below 20%, they take a huge defense. Their defense gets, you know, what's it called? Reduced. Like AGI drops, and you know they already have such low AGI dwarves that once it drops below 75. Their AC takes a huge hit, and then I think they're also have less strength and stuff. So once one of them gets below 20%, they fall behind much faster after that. So sometimes they'll be even to like 40%, and then one will stay at 40%, and then the other one will be like nearly dead. And that's when I run out of mana because I got to use 2 or even 3 of my big nukes to finish that one off. But as that was almost as good as it can get. And now the other sisters are not going to be up again yet. But we're just going to go over there and we're going to wait there. Oh, I got a tell asking me if I'm interested in a frenzy group. That sounds awesome. That would be so cool. Because I do want that belt. But this is Monday. And I just logged on at like 10:30 p.m. right now. I think it's getting closer to 11. That's 11:20. So I think I'm going to have to say no to that. Because we're only doing a short session. Darn it. I have been dreaming about Frenzy for so long. One of my biggest goals is to do Frenzy. Because I want to get that belt. And I always dream about Frenzy. When I played TLP, when I played P99, dreamt about it, soloing it on my cleric. You can hear me talking about it all the time if you go back and watch my Sendrith videos, like the original Sendrith videos. When I started soloing Lower Guck, Frenzy is the goal. Get that FBSS. There's just like no way. There's nothing else that's as good down there. Even the yaks. I mean, the yaks are pretty cool, but the FBSS is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? And so, look, see, here we are. Sisters are down, but they'll be up soonish. We're getting a little overweight because we've simply got... Oh, because I forgot to put the food that I bought in another bag. That's really what... Wait, is this only one bottle of water? Let's just drink that up. Yeah, we gotta get rid of this food, and then that allows us to put these big axes in our big backpack. There we go. Those are heavy. These things weigh 14 pounds. So unless you got weight reduction bags, you're gonna vendor them immediately. But it's really cool to see that we're at the level where we can start getting invites to, like I said, Lord, Frenzy. Truly awesome to be at that point. To start doing that cool stuff. The problem is finding the time for it. Like, usually when I do have time to group, I'm playing with my buds. You know, you see my friends videos, playing with Classic, or I'm playing with Wolfdar, or the Southbound Friend group, you know. So, just rarely have time to group once I'm in the swing of work and stuff. So I'm really hoping, what I'm thinking is, Kunark drops, and everyone goes to start Nixar, and then maybe, since I play it off hours, maybe I can show up in Unrest and... I mean, not Unrest, I can show up in Lower Guck and find Frenzy open, and I could solo it. Then I don't have to worry about rolling for the belt if I get it to drop. Then I can kind of AFK Dad camp it, you know? Kind of, because they are undead, so my hide is not going to work. So I have to worry about that patrol that comes through the hallway into Frenzy. I don't know if you can sit safely in the Frenzy room without aggroing one of the spawns anywhere. And also not aggroing the patrol, because the patrol comes right into the Frenzy room. So that area is pretty much covered. Although if I wanted to sit AFK, I could go to the Sentinel safe hall. There's a safe hall right next to Frenzy on the way to the Sentinel camp, which is just outside of Frenzy, really. So that is an option. And see, these sisters are up now. And this XP is just flowing. It's just flowing. You see, right now my meter is probably about accurate at this point. 22%. I'm level 40. You know? That is good. Alright. Mez is worn off. I like to pull them out of the house, so I use a Tash to pull, and then sick her sister on her. She probably wasn't expecting that. Another idea I had for interesting media that I'll never have the time to do probably would be to like make like full-on stories, like novel-esque stories, but they're with visuals like in the game. Like the main character is like a character in Everquest. You're like walking him around filming, and he goes stands next to someone, and then does some talking and there's some dialogue and they're hanging out or something. Maybe have a friend on a character too, you know. Get some footage and then put some dialogue to it and do like stories like that. Murder mysteries, I was thinking, like find a corpse. Kind of like the Dick Tracy-esque like voices. That's what I was imagining. So I'm loading up the nukes. Now you see there's a 14-point difference, but that can change really fast. However, root just wore off, and it is getting bigger, so I think I am going to throw a 9 damage nuke in there, even things out a bit. And good thing I did, because she's already got a significantly lead on my pet. And my pet's about to fall below 20%, so it's only going to get bigger from here on out. We're going to hit her with an anarchy, and then hopefully be able to reroute her before I have to call the pet back. It's getting really close. Oh, the pet's almost dead. Oh, that was really risky. But now we get to use, I think, a sanity warp. Oh, she's gonna hit us because oh, she got a swing, but she pretty much missed. 3% sanity warp can handle. 72% mana goes down to 66. So that's only 6% of my mana. So you see how uneven it got. I hit her with my biggest nuke, my medium nuke, and I still need to use 2 nukes to finish her off. So sometimes, due to RNG, it gets like that. And then look, I'm down to 48% mana, so... But when it goes nicely, I've got like 85% mana after I finish them off. 85 is rare. That's really, like, you use like the tiny nukes, pretty much. Okay, now we're encumbered. It's a good time to sell, I guess. Yeah, I guess. We're starting to get encumbered faster because we just have so much plat and gold on us. This is the evil eye bag. It does 70% weight reduction, but these axes are so heavy. Sorry. That, you know, 14, you take 70% off 14, it's still pretty heavy. I tried to pause through that cough. Ringmail. Plat's just flowing. So I made an interesting mistake last time. Let me pause for another coughing session. I went to Felwith to buy my 39 enchanter spells, and I had a bunch of plat from grinding these sisters. 350 or something like that. And so, I talked to the trainer, and I was just like messing around, because even with my high elf illusion on, the trainer knows something's up. He's an enchanter, you know, so he's dubious. He's not KOS, but he's like, eh. But I cast a benevolence on him, and he goes up to indifferent, and then I can train with him. I didn't think I needed to train anything, but I'm like just playing around with that. I'm like, what should I train? And then I'm like, oh, research. And like an idiot, I totally forgot, because I've already trained research a bunch. I forgot that, you know, after like even just level 15, got a rebuff clarity apparently. But these sisters are still down, so it works nicely. After level 15, you're paying an ever increasing amount for every level of training you do on that skill. And the higher your skill is, the more expensive it is. And I just like, oh, I have all these, I have like so many training points I haven't used. Oh, I should put them into research. And I just went and before I realized what was happening, I was down to like 60 or like 80 plat, and I was like, oh crap. So I couldn't even afford all my level 39 spells because of that mistake. I thought it was funny. Now we had to wait, and we don't want to have to wait, so we're gonna jump on these sisters ASAP. So even though we've only got 60 mana, we're going for it as soon as this calm pops. Unless we make this our new, if we make our med session when we go back. That was probably the smart thing to do. Just med up now, and then kill these sisters, go back when the other sisters are up. As long as they're together, it doesn't matter which one's coming first, but I'm already committed at this point. Alright. It's just an easy, simple grind. So this is perfect because I can just log on and do it. So occasionally when I wake up from my nap early, my lunch break, I can get, 2, 4, 5%. When I've only got 30 or 40 minutes before bed to play, I can get, some percentage. And I can continue to make the push on this character up to level 50 or, you know, as close as I can get. Try to get one character up at that range where I can play with people's mains, and I can do some of the dungeon stuff. Get the good gear solo. That would be very nice. Now see, they're pretty even, so I don't need to worry about slow, so I'm gonna forget my charm spell set and go into my nuke spell set, which does not have the slow. 10 seconds on route. I'm gonna refresh it now, because with these sisters, you don't want both of them beating on you. When they both come and hit me at the same time, it sometimes takes me down to 60 or even 40% HP. They can hit hard. So there's a 15-point difference now. We're going to even it out with a nuke. There we go. Now they're right within range of each other. It did break root though. And look, no worries about the mana. Started with 60%. I've basically still got 60%. It's just such a simple grind. Just be careful. You're going to get more charm breaks and they're going to hurt more when you start here. I think you could start at... They're level 35, so you could start at level 38, or even if you're crazy, you could start at 37. Or if you're really crazy, I guess you could start at 36 or even 35. It seems a bit insane to me, but if they break and they come for you, like if you're going to do anything less than 38, you definitely should have a rune up. No doubt. And you should be keeping your distance. You actually might not even need a rune if you keep your distance. Like, how long is this video? I don't think it's been that long. Let me check. We're at 68% now. This video is 37 minutes. I was at 52 or 54. That's some good XP movement for level 40. So this is a great spot. Classic was complaining like, oh, the XP's not that good, the money's not that good, but I don't want to group, blah, 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 blah. But I still think it's better than grouping. No, I think he said that too. I think this is still, he was like, even though this seems slow, like, it's still much better than grouping. But he was killing 2 spawns per respawn. And I'm killing 4. And it still feels like it's going to be a long grind, And so I can't imagine being a necromancer and just killing 2. I think he maybe upped it to 3 or 4. But solo, he was just killing like 2 for a while, so... Yeah, can hardly imagine that. That would feel slow. Don't know if I could do it. Sorry, that's a bad habit. I need to stop doing that if I'm recording videos. Zooming in and out. I know half the time people aren't even watching the videos. They're just kind of like listening to the audio and glancing over, but stuff like that, when you're not the player actually doing the zooming in and out, can be pretty disorienting. And someone complained about my chewing gum. They said, that's it for me. I'm done with your videos because you're chewing gum, which I understand. I'm going to try to remember not to do that. But, I apologize, but you gotta realize, you guys, I work like 55 hours a week, and I've got 3 kids, and I help out with household chores, so like when I play, it's like, I just hop on and I play. I can't be bothered to worry about little things like that, so some of my videos are not the greatest quality. I hope you can forgive me, and please let me know if I'm doing something like that that's particularly annoying, like to the point where you wouldn't even watch the video anymore because of some little thing like chewing gum, and I'm not saying that's a little thing, like I don't think I would watch either if I was hearing it would drive me crazy too. So feel free to let me know. I appreciate that comment. Yeah. But yeah, I picked up a little bit of a gum habit. I just like, I've never had a gum habit in my whole life. and I just picked up a pack of double mint gum, and I was like, wow, this tastes like really good. Just like the mint flavor. And so I got really into it, and I think I'm over it now. But for a while, they were like, this is delicious. So I was chewing a lot of gum. What can I say? Take a quick break while we met up here. Want to grab a drink. All right. Interesting to note, right? I'm soloing, so I think I'm doing a fair amount of nuking for an enchanter. And still, my evocation just hit 166. My cap is like 195 or something. It's behind. At level 44, I'm gonna get a new nuke, and I'm wondering if I'll even be able to cast it. Just kind of a bummer. We got plenty of mana. We gotta get on top of the spawns again. I'm pretty sure the sisters are gonna be up, even though we're not full mana. So sometimes you can see we do fall behind. Sometimes you're sitting at full mana waiting for a little bit, not long. Other times we're literally kind of falling behind, or I guess not falling behind, catching up after. But if you get a couple bad combos in a row, yes, you do fall behind. Even just one bad combo, and you're doing catch up. So two pairs, a total of 4 mobs. It was really kind of perfect. You don't want more than that, not with these respawn rates. Now, if we were on P99, I think the respawns would be like 22 minutes or 24 minutes or something like that. And then, yeah, this would not be a spot for an enchanter at all. Except you could do the guards. Yes. See, on P99 you could do the guards. Here you can't. I wonder if that's why they made enchanters unable to do the guards, just to force enchanters to go elsewhere, because they do have more options. They are capable of doing more things, I guess. Although, I mean, if you're a class that can do guards, you could do these as well. So, I don't know. I'm still not sure I like that. I'm sure that I don't like it. I don't really understand the reason why enchanters aren't allowed to charm guards. Just make them... They already have boosted magic resistance. Isn't that enough? They're more likely to resist charm. Charm breaks are more likely. Like, isn't that balance enough? Everyone else can kill guards. Necros can throw, multiple generations of a single dot, like, on a guard. Like, why are we not allowed to charm the guards? See, this would be a good point to... I think we will. No, now it's evening out. It's not bad enough yet. I think we won't. I was almost going to break charm and slow the pet, because the pet was at like 50 and the other mob was at like 28. But she got it down into an acceptable range. There is a gap, but it's not that bad. 8%. Let's see if she... Yeah, there we go. 32. See, now that's good, because what that means is I can hit her with an anarchy, and it'll take her lower than 20%, so that I won't have to reroute. I am going to have to root once, because I cannot pull off a nuke before she... Oh, no. Gets to me. I didn't think she would get to me on that one. Let's go kill... I like to kill this one first, just to get her out of the way. But see, now I don't have to root again after this nuke, if it breaks root at all. Sometimes it doesn't. It didn't. Now it's going to be close. Like I said, Anarchy does about 17%. Yep, she just ticked up to 17. Let's see if this pulls it off. It did not, so... Gotta hit her with the sanity warp as well. Boom. So as you can see, 70%. Cruising. It says we're getting 23% an hour. Yeah. We're not encumbered yet. So I'm gonna wait. Well, we did kill the other sisters and then come over here, so I think we got time anyway. So, see, the thing is, I'm gonna pick up weight from the coin, because this is 100% weight reduction bag, so these things aren't affecting my weight, and now I'm converting them into coin, so they will. And look, there's nothing in here anyway. But that's okay. We can drop some extra weight by destroying all of our copper and silver. There we go. So if you look at my skill box here, you see specialized alteration went up to 192, alteration went up to 200. So I'm guessing 200 is our cap. Guessing. And I want to talk about why I chose alteration to be my specialization. Alteration covers hastes, it covers, I think, slows, it covers charm, which is an expensive spell. So I really think it's overall the best bang for your buck in as far as a specialization for an enchanter, especially in groups, because in groups you're charming pets, you're hasting pets and or other player characters, and you may or may not be slowing monsters. So alteration plus roots are also alteration. Lots of rooting going on when you're soloing as well. So definitely for groups, it's the best choice. Now, whether or not for solo, I think it is also the best choice for soloing. But there could be an argument for example, what's the other one? I think mesmerization. Is that objuration? I can't remember right now. Let's get on top of these sisters, though. But I think far and away, it's alteration that you should go for. With other classes, it's not so obvious, you know. For example, cleric was a bit of a decision. Alterations your heals, so you could save some mana on your heals. But then again, if you want to solo it all, you should do evocation for sure, because that's your biggest limitation when you're soloing. The cost of your nukes. I mean, you have a certain amount of mana, your nukes do a certain amount of damage, and the mob has a certain amount of XP. So some mobs are literally pretty much unkillable if your mana pool's a certain size. Whereas if you can take 10% off the cost of each nuke and you can get an extra nuke or two in, then maybe you could kill that mob. So that one's a bit of, are you going to group? Then you should do alteration. Are you going to solo? You should do evocation. But I think with the enchanter, soloing and grouping, alteration is still your best bet. And if there is something that somehow ends up being the better choice for specialization when you're soloing, then alteration, the difference is going to be so small that you should just go with alteration. It's going to be like 90% as good, at least. And then also in groups, your hastes and your slows, which are expensive spells, you have a chance to save mana on. So it's pretty clear cut what to specialize in with enchanter, if you ask me. But I am not, the god of enchanters. Lord knows there are other gods of enchanters, and I'm not really one of them. I still feel like I'm new to the class, even though technically I'm not now. I've got like a 46 enchanter on P99 blue, so I would not say I'm new to the class any longer. Plus all the videos I watched even before I started one, and continued to watch after I started one. Look, they're like almost perfectly even. This is great. I'm just switching over to the nuke set. Don't need the slow. So like mesmerization is not alteration, I don't think. I think it might be objuration. And maybe Tash is not either. But you gotta realize those are already low mana cost spells, right? So if you save 10% on a cast from that, it's like whoop-de-doo. Whereas if you save 10% on a charm, which usually takes 10% of your mana, that's like, alright. Ooh, it's getting close. Let's not risk it. Oh, good thing I called her back. Look at that. She just knocked her down to 3%. So we killed the pet first. She's got 12%. So we have to use Anarchy. But Anarchy can do like 16%. So there's no way she's going to regen out of Anarchy's range. Perfect. And she's at 4%. Maybe I should have gone with her first because of Sanity Warp. She might have been at 3%, and a Sanity Warp could have finished her off. But oh well, it doesn't matter. We're ahead of the curve. Look at that, ringmail as well. Ringmail is not rare, it's common. It's like 50% chance, it seems like to me. Maybe 40 or 30%, but seems to drop a lot. Really nice. Riptide Spear rotting at docks. Ooh, would that count as self-found if my shaman were there and he went and grabbed that Riptide Spear? You know? It is magic, but 633. And it gives you Enduring Breath, though. That's pretty cool. Only 3 charges, though. Okay, so it's magic. It would be a magic weapon, basically. I did think about trying to camp that item before. But now that I look at it again, I mean, I still don't have a magic item on that character as a weapon, but I no longer need it. Like, I'm not meleeing really anymore. I apologize, I haven't put out a Polonius video in a while. I've been thinking about it, and I think I don't like my plan. I was thinking I would go do Crushbone some more, and get more belts and get level 12 there, and then do the night cards, and I think my aversion to doing that makes me not want to play the character. So I think I'm not going to do the night cards again, even though potentially I could get a Dwarven Ringmail Tunic, which could turn into a quest for that mace, the Screaming Mace from Crushbone. Plus, to get that mace, you need to kill the Warlord. I don't think that's going to happen as a solo self-found hardcore. You need like a group. There's like ads around there, you know? So, I think I need to think of a plan that sounds like a fun adventure, even if it's not the most optimal plan. So I'm thinking of heading to West Commons and killing orcs. That might be fun. Those orcs are like around level 10, like 7 to 10. Get XP off them and get some Death Fist / belts. I'm also thinking about what other options I have. Northern Row, I suppose, near the Oasis zone line, so I want to be near a zone line, right, so I can escape. Problem is, the spiders and snakes are poisonous. We don't want to deal with poison if we don't have to. I was thinking for now is doing the chessboard. The chessboard is fun. I think the lowest level mobs there are like 7 or 8, so they might be, you know, dark blue, maybe light blue. But then some of them, the problem with that is the danger of like Shadow Knights. They have Shadow Knights that spawn there, and they'll harm touch you. I don't think the harm touch is that strong though. So anyway, Polonius hasn't been playing for a while. Still trying to figure out what I want to do with him. I've been really focused on, I really wanted to get my shaman to 24, and I'm happy I did. Cannibalize and regen have been fun to use. I throw the regen on myself, and I'm doing the canny dance where you wait for a mana tick, and then you stand up and you cast Cannibalize and sit down again. So you get the meditate mana ticks as well as the Cannibalize, and you crank up your mana, and then you let the HP regen, troll HP regen plus the regeneration spell on top. Oof. And if sometime I can get a Pinkasite breastplate on him, there'll be even more regen, and it'll force me to canny dance all day is what it'll do. Alright, she's up. Another thing I did with this character recently that I did not record was I duoed with Tom's 39 Shadow Knight in West Commons. We killed the 2 druids at the druid rings, we killed the toll guards, and then we zoned into East Commons and we killed 2 more druids who were hanging out at some ruins. The thing about it was a lot of running around. So I was very engaged. But it was kind of fun. I enjoyed it. I would do it again. If you're listening, Tom, I would do it again. Then we tried to go into Freeport, and we tried to figure out where I could get like an NPC, like a citizen like this to charm, and we could kill guards. But it was kind of camped. There were some bards and stuff in there, so didn't end up working out. Now it looks like their HP's even enough. I'm gonna forget about slowing and switch over to nukes. We got full mana anyway. We should just nuke. Who cares if it costs a little extra mana? The slow just makes the fight take longer. That's what we don't want. So root's about to wear off. It did wear off. There's a 15-point lead. Let's even that out. It was resisted. Okay, well, the HP evened out anyway. That's the thing about trying to interfere. Like, sometimes it evens out naturally, and your interference ends up not being an aid, but making things bad. Okay, we could use another Chaos Flux this time. Bring her down into running range. Oh, oh no, we're gonna lose the bet. Darn it. I should have just let things be. Oh well, we lost 1 kill's worth of XP and loot. That's what happens. So now it says 20% per hour. And that's probably about accurate. We're probably getting about 20% per hour. This recording is 56 minutes long, and I'm pretty sure we started at 54%. And now we're at 74. Now in the next 4 minutes I could get 3 more percent. So probably 22% per hour at level 40, which remember is a hell level. So we're talking at least 30% at level 39. I think it was 30 or 33% an hour. And that's really good. Level 39, just in 3 hours, cranking out a whole level. And it's solo. But I guess a lot of people are used to solo being better XP than group. I'm not, because I'm still a cleric at heart. That's where I came from. And it just seems ridiculous that soloing can give you better XP per hour than grouping. But it's true. Have you noticed the choppiness I'm getting? It used to be so smooth, and now I don't know why, but I'm getting this choppiness. I'm not sure really what's causing it. If anybody has an idea of how to fix that choppiness they're seeing, hopefully Calmethar might recognize it and know what to do. But it used to be smooth. I think ever since the latest, was it the DLL file or the latest Zeal? I think it was the latest Zeal. And I've tried the pan delay. It feels like it might be a pan delay issue, but I've tried playing with this slider to no avail. But it's really cool now that we can, I don't know if you guys know, but with the new Zeal options, you can actually turn off show helm. And that means for everybody, not just for what you see. Which I love. I really hate showing the helm 9 times out of 10. I'd rather not see the helm. Sorry, my wife's phone is kind of loud, but that's how it's gonna be, I guess. That's about it, guys. I think we're gonna do another 2 pairs and then sell and then call it on this video. You'll see what I'm doing. I don't know how long I'll be here, but I imagine it's good to like at least 42. They're level 35 mobs. They'll probably still be dark blue at that point. And unless I find another spot like this that's a nice AFK Dad grind kind of camp with good XP and good money, I don't see any reason to leave as long as they're dark blue. You know? But if you have any ideas, feel free to holler at me. When I am done here, I was thinking trying to find a spot in Lower Guck, but it's just not as much of a chill camp, you know, because I think the biggest thing for me is the variance in not only level but in class, like getting wizards and stuff that can cast on me. Even when they're rooted at a distance, they can still be doing stuff to me. Doesn't sound like fun to me. Ads, you know, patrols, and having tight quarters, so when mobs start to run at 20% or less, you don't have the room to let them run. think I might be trying to do some outdoor stuff. I was thinking about going into some cities and trying to find citizens like this in cities that are maybe like level 40 or 38, you know, higher. Just keep doing stuff like this would be kind of cool if you ask me. Well, I forgot to tash her first, and sure enough, she resisted my root. There we go. See, now the pet is kicking some butt. So this might be one of the fights where we break charm and we slow the pet. It's only a 16-point lead right now, but now it's about 20. See what happens. But I kind of like doing that because sometimes when I slow the mob, then my pet just starts kicking butt, and then the pet ends up with way more HP at the end. But when I slow the pet, if that happens, I can nuke the target mob and keep the HP even that way. You know what I mean? I'm still on the fence. It's still only a 20-point lead. That could change in a heartbeat. See, look, it's going. Yeah, it's exactly 20 points right now. And now it's only 15 or 17. And a charm break. Okay, so this is a fun thing. Check this out. Trying to time color stun, which is an AoE stun, so that it hits her before she's in range. See, yeah, there I did it too early. It's not easy to do. But I've been trying to master it because my friend Zem, my Chinese friend, he had it down where he would do a color stun right at the right time. And the mob would get stunned, but not be within range to melee. It was beautiful. Oh, root break. Alright, well, let's just bring you over to your sister here. And try again with the stun thing. There we go. See how I did that? I stunned her, but I didn't get hit. That's perfect. See, that was an opportunity to slow my pet. I did not even think of it. See, now it's a 30-point difference. Let's just do it anyway, just for fun. Oh, now it's too low. Let's try it. Look, it's 53%. That's just too much HP, you know what I mean? So let's try another stun thing. Got her. Mez. Slow. Charm. And then we gotta go re-root the other sister, whose root is breaking right about now. And look, she's gonna start running for the hills. Rooted. There we go. A little interesting action on this particular pair. I always love having some interesting action to put on the videos. So it's a little late for the slow because this mob is already below 20% HP. So it's probably just a waste of mana, to be honest. But let's see. Let's see if she can chop some HP down before I have to break charm. She's only at 9% now. 8%. I'm still gonna hold out. Okay, I can't hold out any longer. So yeah, it was a waste of mana. If I had done it earlier, it would have been good. I should have when I was talking about it. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Alright, now we get to practice again this stun timing. Very nice, very nice. I feel like I'm getting it down. Unfortunately, she's at 38%, so I'm going to hit her with an Anarchy, and she's still going to be coming after me. She's not going to be running yet. Or at least her sister's out of the way. So maybe we get another stun in? Oh, no root break. Perfect. So let's see, 17 to 22 is about 5. Let's do a Chaos Flux and then another Anarchy. That'll do it for sure. But that's what I'm talking about. See, now we're... Look at our mana. We're drained. We're at 20% mana now. Charming 2 times. 3 times total, actually. Breaking charm 2 times. 1 time it broke naturally, 1 time I broke it, and then casting the slow. and then all those extra nukes. That's about the least mana efficient. That's about as least as it gets, and that's not horrible. Like, we're alive, right? We got the kills. It's not that bad, really. And most of the time, it's much better than that. Like, definitely could have handled it better. But that's how it goes, you know. Sometimes you make the wrong decision and you don't really know what's the right decision. It's kind of like poker, you know. You should have folded, you should have called. Well, maybe you should have, maybe you shouldn't have. The results don't necessarily dictate what you should or shouldn't have done. Because sometimes the numbers just end up rolling out against you. You might have made the right decision, and then the RNG kind of screws you over. In that case, I think I did make the wrong decision. I should have either slowed earlier, or just not slowed at all, and just have accepted that I was going to nuke her down. But maybe not. Because even though the mob only did like another 8% damage against my pet, it might have done 0% damage if I hadn't slowed, which means that's an extra nuke, right? And with the slow, maybe the fight took a little bit longer, which allowed me more time to met. And who knows, maybe otherwise I would have run out of mana and still had a mob alive. That's the worst. So I really love the Enchanter soloing game. It's definitely my favorite soloing game. And Cleric is actually kind of a close second. Necromancer's fun, but now that I play it more and I get used to it, it's losing its kind of, you know, allure of, you know, the grass always greener on the other side, or when you see something from afar that you're not already accustomed to, it's very alluring and exciting. But now that I've gotten into it, it's fun. But the Cleric just feels more exciting, because you don't have Feign Death, you don't have a pet to take aggro for you. So it's a lot like Wizard, I think. It's a root nuke thing, and I think people kind of crap on the root nuke thing a little too much. It's actually kind of exciting when resists can change the game for you. And clerics also can lull, so when you're lulling, you can go to named camps with the cleric and kill names that are still giving XP, like dark blue names. And Necros sometimes can't do that. Necros sometimes have to wait until the mobs are like green to them in certain cases and just go farm the loot, because they don't have really a lull, you know, or they do, but it's not as dependable because their charisma is so low. You know what I mean? Anyway, we're gonna met up outside here, and by the time this time we wasted so much mana, by the time we're even remotely ready to go, I know for a fact these two sisters will be up. In fact, it would be smartest if I were to keep grinding and grinding to just met up to like near full and restart the cycle, so that after I kill these girls I can run and kill the other sisters, like to again put all the med time into one basket. However, I think I might be calling it soon. Made a lot of really good progress. At this rate, like if I were to put in an hour session or an hour and a half session each night, I might make it pretty close to 50 by the time Kunark really opens. Like by the time this character can go to Kunark, it might be near 50. And I was really thinking that was not going to be a possibility. A lot of that hinges on whether or not I start an Ixar. I'm still thinking about it. I'm so tempted to just use that time when the server when this continent clears out to level. However, there is nothing more exciting and fun than a new server launch, and this will be a most unique one because it's like a Kunark only server launch kind of thing. I mean, it's not just like Kunark's opening, because when Kunark opens, but then the continent also opens, a lot of people just go to that continent on characters from this continent. But I think even more people are going to create Ixars than otherwise would. And usually every time Kunark opens, people can twink their Ixars. But there will be no twinking, so it's going to be a very unique, interesting launch. I think I'm going to have to get in on it, especially since I've always wanted an SK. It's just a perfect perfect storm, a perfect combination of opportunity to start an SK and to have that experience. Anyway, these sisters are most assuredly up, and we got decent enough mana for me to go for it. But if I don't call it after this, I'll definitely be calling it in the next 20 to 30 minutes. But we might get to 80%, and that means just like one more session and we'll be level 41. And who knows, 41 is not a hell level, so I might sit here and do the same thing and it'll be faster. It might be like, you know, 25, 30% per hour, as opposed to right now it's like 20, 22. It probably will, I think. It'll be at least the same. It will be no worse than the same. It was not going to be slower than 40. I still don't know all the mechanics of what they did to the hell levels exactly. At first we thought there were no hell levels, then we found out I think what we settled on now is that there are hell levels, but they're reduced, like some amount of the hell has just been spread out across all the levels. Which is interesting. So the HPs are close enough to where I think we're just going to go with nukes this time. Not even going to think about slowing. And then as soon as I say that, of course, look, the pet just starts like pulling away for some unknown reason. Now he's got a 27-point lead on the target mob. And it's probably... I mean, I could... Now it's too late. Like, right when it got to like 22%, I could have pulled the pet back and slowed her. But like I said, I already committed to nuking. Yeah, and look. And it flipped back, and the mob was able to get the pet down to 15%. Now it's only a 7% difference. So, it's all good. Now they're both within the range of a single nuke. Alun Bilgum, the pet, is at 16%. So if I do this fast enough, an Anarchy should finish her off. Come on, before she ticks up. Boom. And then Sister's at 7%. Chaos Flux does about 9%. She ticked up to 8, so that was perfect. Boom. More ringmail. And we have enough mana to like hit the next pair. So we made some decent recovery on that one. We started at about 81% mana, and we're at 66 now. That was almost as good as it gets. We used our biggest nuke and a medium nuke. As good as it gets, obviously, is 2 of your smallest nukes. But getting them both down to 3% is extremely rare. It's happened. I think it's happened once. Maybe twice since I've been grinding here. But it's extremely rare. The way I feel is if you got them both below 20%, it's a total success. Just remember that the pet, whatever its HP is, well, if it's particularly low, it will start running immediately when you break. But usually it'll run at you. And then when it gets to the spot you were standing at when you broke Charm, it will then start to run. So you just need to back off a little bit from wherever you were standing when you casted Invis to break Charm. And then you're good. So you see we're right on time here. One sister is up, and there's the other. I am using my J-Boots as a global cooldown thing, even though I don't have to. I think it's a good habit to get into for charming, even when you don't have to again, because later, when you're charming during a charm break, in a fight, in a group, you want to be doing it. And so why not just do it all the time? Just make it second nature. It's the way I feel about it. Plus, then you can finish all the casting and then just chill. So our XP per hour has dropped down to 19%. I'm not sure how that is. I thought it should be going up. It's just about time to go to bed. That does sound good. I've been listening to stories on YouTube lately. Space horror and these kind of interesting horror stories. Like, I worked at a toll booth. There was an interesting set of rules. And there's a whole series that's sprung up on the internet of people writing stories like this, where there's a set of rules that are really weird rules because they're dealing with some sort of weird paranormal stuff. So I don't know if anybody likes to listen to stories, but I've been enjoying that stuff lately. Look at this. They're like within 4% of each other. Definitely switching to nukes on this one. Let's try to get a nice wide camera angle. I think it'll look better. Root must have worn off a year ago. I totally forgot about it, but luckily Charm didn't break. Do not do that. Keep Root up. Don't think, well, it seems to be holding all the time, so maybe I don't need to Root. No, no, no. Don't do it. It's so much of a headache when Charm breaks and the target mob is not rooted. It's really not worth it. Do not do it. I cannot stress enough that you should not do it. It's a 5% difference. Why don't I just even it up a little bit? There, now they're perfectly even. 8%. Now once my pet goes below 5% and 2%, look at that. Look at that. Almost that perfect thing I was talking about where they're both within a sanity warp. Now we're definitely using our global cooldown item because we want to get to this pet before she gets up to 4%. She's at 3%. So sanity warp can finish her. Boom. Look at that. 73% mana. More ringmail. We're just getting spoiled all day here. And now we know, because we just killed the other sisters and came here, and we found them popping. So now we know we got a little bit of time before the other sisters spawn. So I could sell now if I want to. It might be better actually to start the pair over here at number 3 and then go to that hut at number 4. That way you got the, you know for sure you got the med break. Oh, I just went the wrong way. You know for sure you're finished with the cycle and you're over at that hut already, so that you can sell at the merchant without having to worry about repops at all. See, now I'm kind of like racing against the repops to sell, because if they repop when I'm in there, they beat on me, you know? And I am encumbered because these axes are so heavy. See, if I juggle the axes around, there we go. Not encumbered now. Where am I? Holy crap. I gotta pay attention to where I'm walking. This is what I got at the Lord Camp, a skull-shaped barbute. I plan on giving it to Sendrith, my level 25 cleric, because it does 10 magic resistance. What I like to do on my clerics is I like to load them up on magic resistance. 10 there, Bloodstained Mantle, another 10. If I can find a Splitpaw Hide Mask, that's another 5 magic resistance. And I think there's a couple other items. The earrings that do magic resistance, the rings that do magic resistance. You get magic resistance up to like 100, 120, and then you throw your buff on, and you can solo hags all day. You don't have to worry about them. They're trying to nuke you and just getting resisted the whole time. It's a beautiful thing. So you can solo the hag tower. Great experience. Now let's see if we can't. Maybe if we stand over here, we're out of line of sight, so I don't have to worry about the sisters spawning. We're getting 4 platinum. Straight up 4 platinum for these axes. Pretty soon here, because we're almost encumbered just on coin at this point. So pretty soon here I'm going to make another trip to Felwith to bank and pick up the rest of my spells that I could not afford. See, look at that. Just off of coin. Just off of coin. 60 out of 62. Like I should be going right now, basically. 450 plat with 47 more in gold, so we're at about 500 plat. We were at a little over 300, I think, when we started this recording. So as you can see, a beautiful spot, you guys. A beautiful spot. I hope you enjoyed the video. Check this spot out after I'm finished here, please. It's great for enchanters, these two pairs of sisters doing some horrible, horrible stuff that pays well. I will see you guys in the next video.